This is Joe, just an average red-blooded American lad of whom there are thousands in Alabama. He has the average American dreams, wants to have his own car, his own home, and get married in a few years. But Joe has a problem. He can't afford college. Colleges do not always offer training in the type occupation he has in mind anyway. So he's been hunting a job ever since he finished high school last summer. It's been hard, but he keeps on looking. Every employer wants to know, "What can you do, Joe?" Or, "What kind of experience you had, Joe?" "You gotta have training for this job, Joe." "Oh, I got a couple of little jobs open for somebody that doesn't have any training, Joe, but the pay is very low." Now, Joe lives in the Tennessee Valley, a rich industrial and agricultural section. But its businessmen have a problem, too. They have millions upon millions of dollars invested in machines, equipment, and materials. They have to keep these businesses running with minimum delays, getting out orders at top efficiency. Cities like Decatur, Hartselle, Huntsville, Athens, and the Tri-Cities all have similar problems. A busy foreman or supervisor who must train a new man from scratch on a job must do so at the expense of other duties. So poor Joe is still looking for a good job. He meets a friend of his father, a Mr. Smith, and tells him of his problem. So Mr. Smith takes Joe out Highway 31 to the Tennessee Valley State Vocational Technical School to talk to Mr. Calhoun, the director. Joe explains his job-seeking problem to Mr. Kelly, and they talk for quite a while. Mr. Kelly takes Joe around, shows him the school and its classes, where approximately 600 students are presently enrolled. They look in on the sheet metal class and meet the instructor. Joe is shown what he should be able to do with some intensive study and training. He sees what other students have done. The instructor explains that the new student starts study on the drafting board before he gets into practical applications. Joe knows this would be a good field because there is more and more central heating and air conditioning being done every day. Joe visited the radio and television repair department. Here, students put into practice the theory they have learned in the hours studying technical manuals. With over 500,000 TV sets and a radio in most every car, people trained for this trade will be in much demand. Students are introduced to this course through comprehensive circuit mock-ups that work. They trace their first burned-out tube on these boards. Then Joe visits the electrical department. Joe knows the number and type of appliances in the homes of America are increasing daily. And business and industry rely on electrical power as never before. Your state vocational school offers students the principles and practical applications of home and industrial problems in electricity. They work daily with the same tools, the same equipment as used in the electrical industry itself. Mr. Kelly takes Joe into the barbering class. The instructor tells Joe about this occupational field and that many barber's chairs are awaiting a trained man today. Joe shows real interest in this class. His uncle is a barber. The number of new homes being built daily in this section of Alabama would astound you. And the modern home of today must have, in addition to electricity, ample plumbing and drainage. Your vocational school has a complete course in plumbing to assure that its graduates can install the type of plumbing that will be trouble-free to its user. Joe knows that most of the long-haul highway trucks today are powered by the economy-minded diesel engine. So he looks in on the class at the diesel shop. This course gives the student a well-rounded study from the theory of fuel injection to simple servicing. This diesel farm tractor, once burned, was restored to service as a class project. Needless to say, with the expanding transportation industry, graduates from this course are in demand at good wages. Office equipment today is becoming more and more complex. So Joe even looked on the inside of an adding machine in the office machine repair department. These small machines have thousands of parts, precision parts, that must work perfectly at all times. Business and industry are demanding more and more machines. The man who can service these precision instruments in a busy office has his work cut out for him. This class includes theory behind operation of all the current office equipment of the average business of this area, like this multilith printing forms for the school itself. Now, Joe was never much at typing, but he visited this typing class. It is a part of the course in business education. As business and industry of the Tennessee Valley grow, so does the necessity of keeping accurate records, writing more and more letters. Your technical school has a 24-month course in business education and ready jobs for those who finish. Once you pulled a simple trigger to fire the main weapon of war. But Joe has read that today, just the firing operation on one rocket or missile takes hours for highly skilled men. So Joe certainly looked in on the electronics course. Your Valley State Vocational School has a course in electronics available for students who wish to become technicians in this field. Stars are literally the limit for graduates of this course. Over 850 students have been placed at Redstone Arsenal alone, and many helped make the famous Jupiter missile. It was explained to Joe that electronics is not the only course at the school in which students need a supplemental study in math along with their regular course. This foundation course in math assists students in most trades offered. Drawing is offered as a supplementary subject, but be it mechanical or otherwise, it is a necessary part of a well-rounded trade. This is particularly true in mechanical courses. The student not only learns how to read blueprints, but how to make them. However, a 24-month course in drafting is available to students who want to enter architectural, mechanical, civil, or technical fields. With the building industry expanding as never before, there are many openings for students who finish this course. A new course in technical drafting and mechanical design has been recently added. The human body needs attention from time to time. There are over 3 million people in Alabama today, and the need of nurses to care for the sick is astonishing. The nursing course at your Tennessee Valley Vocational Technical School gives a full year of pre-clinical and clinical work. The work begins in the classroom. It continues in studies of diets and nutrition. And the course ends with practical experience in hospitals. Joe saw that a man who can do a classy job of refinishing a valuable antique, stuffing a worn-out sofa, or repairing the trim of an auto has opportunity too. This course in upholstery consists of a study of fabrics, leathers, and various woods, as well as their practical application. In this fast-moving, appointment-minded society of today, everybody has a watch, and watches do need attention from time to time. The Tennessee Valley State Vocational School offers both men and women a chance to learn an expanding trade that requires a delicate touch. The theory and practice students learn here will help reduce the waiting time for watch repairs in the future. Joe looked in on the class in cabinet making offered at the Tennessee Valley School, an excellent field for a person handy with his hands. Old cars of this vintage were usually serviced by a shade tree mechanic using pliers and baling wire. Today, Just the transmission of the modern car has more parts than the entire auto of yesteryear. So the auto mechanics course at the school gives the student training and actual work on the new large power plants and complicated automatic drives and accessories that make up the modern car of today. Joe looked all over this class and noted that students here, as in other classes on the campus, work with the same tools and equipment as they will find in the business world when they have finished their studies. As long as people drive cars, there will be wrecks. There were some 30,000 reported in Alabama last year, many more not mentioned. The skill of a proud artisan has great challenge in straightening a tangled automobile body. Every phase of body repair is covered in this course. And when the students here have finished, they'll become qualified experts much more quickly than others who have not taken time to train themselves. Joe found the course in welding to be of interest, too. In this class, as in all others, the same equipment as is used in the industry itself is on hand to train the student. Instructors themselves are skilled in the commercial phase of the course as well as the academic side. Joe found the same story is told and retold in the machine shop of the Tennessee Valley School. Fine, modern equipment is available to the student who wants to learn another skill in great demand. Students take pride in their projects as they work on problems similar to those to be found in the machine tool industry itself. The classes in refrigeration offer students the opportunity to learn a really expanding trade. Joe saw that students here learn not only by doing, but also on easy-to-understand mock-ups that trace the entire refrigeration process before their eyes. With the expansion of the air conditioning and refrigeration fields today, these students will have little trouble finding the job of their choice. Huge instruments like this one line the walls of many industries today as the trend moves more toward automation. Joe was impressed with this instrumentation technicians class. He saw that students were taught to build and repair the instruments that record the heat, the pressure, weight, velocity, or other factors to help guide the precision wheels of industry. Joe saw students from all over the North Counties of Alabama here, all ages, all ambitions, but all seeking a better life for themselves in the future through the route of a thorough training program. He saw school buses transporting students to and from their homes, up to 70 miles away from the campus every day. Joe learned that in Russia, there are 3,500 such schools as we have just seen. The United States has 250. The State Department of Education here in Alabama has made a beginning with the small funds available and now has 6 scattered throughout the state. After a thorough tour of the campus, Joe takes one of several tests available to check his own qualifications, both vocational and psychological. Then, Joe talks again with Mr. Kelly and enrolls at the Tennessee Valley School, just like hundreds before him. Said he could get up the small tuition of $10 a month, and of course he is over 16 years of age. Joe chooses to enroll in barbering. The 12-month course includes, besides the practical applications, a study of the basic principles behind the care of the face and the scalp. Joe knows that once he has mastered such a skill or trade, it will be his most valuable asset, the vehicle that will bring him the things of which he now dreams. Joe was greatly impressed by a particular sign on the campus containing a quotation of Ben Franklin. "He who hath a trade hath an estate." After months of applied study and practical training, the big day arrives. Joe puts down his tools and leaves his vocational technical school with a diploma. A tangible symbol of having learned an occupation. But this is just a beginning. Joe has a good job waiting for him downtown because he has something he can offer his new employer. Joe was trained by an instructor who used to work in this same shop, and he knows he can make progress here if he just keeps abreast of the new techniques as they arise. Joe has realized at least one of his ambitions already. He has acquired a wife. And he knows that if you work hard enough, you can make dreams come true. It was only then that Joe really felt the meaning of some words he had seen many times at school. He who hath a trade hath an estate.